The Ring, baby. Or just Ring, or Ringu, the original Japanese film from 1997. Oh yes, I've been looking forward to finally watching this. Let's do it. So, as the legendary film begins, we of course hear about the video. If you watch the video, you'll get a phone call, and you'll die a week later. 7 days later. Girl A, Tomoko, has watched the video, maybe, and when she's with her friend, Girl B, the phone rings. But it's just her mother, thank God. But then, something happens to her, but we don't see what it is. Yes, a good classic intro where we hear about the evil scary thing that the film is about, and we get an example of the evil scary thing in action. I think it's actually a pretty good trope for horror films. Show the audience not the monster per se, but show them what happens if the monster gets you, if the big evil thing that the film is about happens. And then the events of the film are basically the protagonist then trying to either escape or defeat the monster. And we already know what will happen to our protagonist if they fail. And now it's exposition time. So, there is a journalist investigating the video. Aha, she must be our protagonist. Now, we already know it's a videotape, but the rumours are that the video plays on a local TV station late at night. Wait a minute, is it actually not a videotape? In this original film, is it not a videotape? The journalist has a kid, and the kid asks why Tomo-chan died. As in Tomoko? As in Girl A? Aha, it's all tying together. Tomoko was journalist lady's niece, I think. And we are at her funeral. Also, just to note, this film has a good suspense-building soundtrack. Yoichi, the creepy little kid, explores the house and finds a TV, and we get some lovely suspense building. But also foreshadowing. We get a confirmation from Tomoko's friends that Tomoko and 3 others watched the video, and 7 days later they all died at the same time. Spooky! When journalist Protag visits Tomoko's mum, we get a creepy ass shot of the TV. Another TV shot. More suspense and foreshadowing. And then we get the first jump scare, a flashback of the mother finding the dead Tomoko, her body distorted, looking like she's screaming. Sadly, I'd say that this particular scene hasn't aged that well. Seeing the died people with wide eyes and open mouths is almost comical. Or maybe that's just because I'm jaded, I don't know. And then the creepy ass kid says that Tomoko died because she watched the cursed video. The creepy ass kid seems like he knows more than he's letting on. Probably not though, but it's an effective technique to deepen the mystery. And oh yes, there is a picture of the friends, but all of their faces are distorted. And the journalist lady finds the cabin they all went to spend the night, where they likely watched the video. There's no videotape, but journalist lady turns on the TV, and then immediately gives up and turns it off. However, when she visits the front desk of the kind of like cabin rental place, she finds a creepy video. This is it. This is the tape. It's actually pretty short, but journalist lady acts as if she was in a trance, and when it's over she snaps out of it, and then she sees a creepy figure in the reflection of the TV behind her, but there's no one behind her, and the phone rings. And a creepy sound is heard from the other end. Then she looks at the clock on the wall, which has the date on it, and she mentions 1 week, 7 days. Oh boy, it happened. The film has properly started. Now she's trapped in the curse and must escape. A strange man encounters her kid before visiting her. Who is this? A fellow journalist? An ex-husband? Perhaps he is Yuichi's dad. His name is Ryuji, and he looks like a Yakuza character. She asks him to take her picture. He does, and when the photo comes out, she's got a warped, distorted face, just like the teenagers in the picture who died. Aha, I see now. She had 2 pictures of the teenagers, one of them in front of the cabin, where they looked fine. That's how she found the cabin. This was before they watched the video. Then the other photo was from after they watched the video, and that's when they have the warped faces. So, being clever adults, Ryuji watches the video too. And he has the great idea to copy the video as well. I'm sure that won't go badly for anyone. Also, Ryuji sees a figure approach him in public, but then she disappears. Oh no, he is haunted, isn't he? So the mystery now is, who made the video? Then we watch the copy of the video they made. Who is the woman brushing her hair in the mirror? They continue to study the video, finding a secret message. Frolic be mine goblins in brine? Or something. It's a saying local to Oshima Island, where there is also a volcano. And the video, yes, the video did mention an eruption. A clue. Also, we start to see the flaws in our protagonist. Ryuji is obviously Yuichi's dad, but doesn't seem all that interested in being a father. He asks about him a few times, but it seems obvious that he hasn't put in any effort over the years. Meanwhile, the mother keeps leaving Yoichi alone at home. She is severely negligent. Perhaps bad parenting is part of the theme intentionally being shown here. Like the two victims in the film are both bad parents. Just a random off-the-cuff theory. And then we hear about a woman who predicted the volcanic eruption and threw herself into the volcano. Could she be the woman in the video? Protagonist lady wakes up to Tomoko's voice, but she thinks it's Yoichi, and it looks like it resembles the figure in the video. But then, Yoichi has watched the video! Ah, shit, that means he's gonna die as well. He says that Tomo-chan told him to bring and watch the video, as in the dead Tomoko, as in Tomo-chan is haunting them? They go to Oshima Island. So, the woman predicted the eruption, became famous, then a professor came and did experiments with the woman to try to prove the existence of ESP. Somebody died in an experiment, the newspapers tore him apart seemingly, and we hear that the woman who predicted the volcano had a daughter before she threw herself into the volcano. And then they find the mirror, and there's an old man who denies the existence of the daughter. And then Ryuji finds the old man on the beach and talks to him about Shizuko, the woman who predicted the volcano. Ryuji has ESP powers? He can read his mind, seemingly. And we see a flashback of Shizuko doing ESP stuff. Oh boy. So the death that happened in one of the experiments was this one. A journalist accused them of fraudery and had a heart attack. So people started to think that Shizuko was some evil monster. But it wasn't her. It was Sadako. Sadako can will people to die. And then Sadako grabs the journalist lady whose name I still don't know, grabs her arm in the flashback, which leaves a handprint on her arm in the current day. So after Shizuko killed herself, Dr. Ikuma took Sadako away with him. Ryuji concludes that the video is Sadako's curse. Oh boy, Sadako is our big evil. But they can't find any trace of where Dr. Ikuma went. But journalist lady concludes that it may be related to the cabin, because when she watched the video in the cabin, the phone rang, and presumably the phone rang for the kids who watched it inside the cabin, and the phone hasn't rang for anybody that watched it outside of the cabin. So they get to the cabin and Ryuji axes his way into the basement, and they find the well, and they have a vision. Dr. Ikuma killed Sadako and threw her into the well. So they try to open the well, and then Ryuji goes down the well. He sees claw marks on the wall, which means Sadako was still alive when she fell into the well, and she tried to escape but she died stuck in the well. And then Ryuji has the idea to empty the water from the well. But the journalist's death time is fast approaching. Aha, her name is Asakawa. And she falls over, and they trade places. Asakawa goes into the well. As she enters the well, she has a vision of Sadako's father. Is Ryuji going to trap her in the well like Dr. Ikuma did to Sadako? She feels around in the water, trying to find Sadako, and then she finds her hair! Oh boy. And then she comes face to face with her. Sadly, Sadako is just a skeleton with goop and hair. And then they get out of the well. It's past Asakawa's death time, but she's not dead. Are they saved? And then... oh boy. We get the iconic scene. Sadako comes out of the well, and then she comes out of the TV. We see that she has no fingernails left from when she tried to climb the well. And... oh boy, she kills him. And then Asakawa sums up the questions that we are left with. Why did Ryuji die, and not Asakawa? Will Yoichi die? And then she sees a dead Ryuji in her TV pointing to her bag. Aha! She didn't die because she copied the tape and passed it on. She passed the curse on to Ryuji. Oh dear. Nothing at all to do with finding Sadako's skeleton and hugging her and freeing her from the well or anything like that. So if people keep copying VHSs and passing on the curse, then maybe everyone can live. Until the age of DVDs comes along. Oh no. So yeah, it was alright. I saw the American remake of this when I was pretty young, so it's pretty interesting seeing this version after that, when I'm a lot older. The American one seemed to focus more on the actual ring, the black and white circle that looked like an eclipse, which the American film hinted at. Well, I say hinted. Which the American film shows was meant to be the visual of the well being closed from Sadako's point of view. But there's nothing about that at all in this one. It's simply called Ring. Maybe we're meant to figure it out for ourselves? Or maybe the title has nothing to do with that at all. Maybe Ring refers to the never-ending cycle of death and revenge that Sadako has created. Or the cycle of the curse of passing it on to somebody else. Who knows? Anyway, I liked it. It didn't scare me. Perhaps that's what this October is truly about. Finding something that will actually scare me. Still, it was good. Would I watch it again? Yeah, I think I actually would. Actually, what I'd like to do now is rewatch the American version and review that, and then compare the two. Maybe I can save that for next year. Oh yes, let's grade it. Prepare to be graded, Sadako. You're going to get an A grade. Well done. I think it's pretty darn good. And if you haven't seen it yourself yet, give it a watch. Maybe even on Halloween. And maybe even it will scare you. Anyways, until the next spooky review, see you then.